It is Saturday, July 23rd, I believe, and obviously a little different day today. We actually have had some really good monsoons so far this season, all around the valley.
I was going to say we have.
The valley's been doing fantastic. So has all of Arizona, at least most of it, has been getting a good amount of rain. As you guys could probably see from the footage this morning, we have a lot of dust.
Yeah. We were hopeful this morning.
We were real hopeful, so we'll see. There's still clouds around us and it's raining all around us. Actually, we did get some rain, some measurable rain for the first time really this season. That was decent. I think we got, what was it, about?
Just under half an inch.
So we got a little bit of rain, but we get a lot more wind and dust, it seems, especially this season, which is really not that uncommon for us.
Yeah.
But our aquifer actually depends on rain just north of us, and they've been getting rain basically every day, with a few exceptions. The reality is our aquifer is being filled, which is what we need. We finally figured out how we're going to deal with the ducks. We had the barrel already, so all we needed to do was buy the spigot that we got on Amazon. I think it was about 15 bucks. We had that old hose that we always cut off so that we could use it to drain onto the tree rings. We fill that barrel up. It holds about 50 gallons. The pool holds right around 70 when it's completely full. So we let it lower a little bit and then we drain it and it gets the majority of it.
Yeah.
So it works out pretty good.
Every time we empty it, we'll just go to a different tree and then empty it on that tree. And
so we'll have a nice thorough soaking of every tree with some pond water.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a first for us. So that's going to be really, really cool to be able to add a little bit of nutrition into the trees outside of the fertilizing time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. So the big news is our turkey arrival, right?
Yeah, they came in this week, so went and picked them up at the post office and got them all set up in the brooder, and they're all doing fantastic.
So now we got these, was it Cackle Hatchery?
Yes.
So Cackle Hatchery sent us 44 of those little poults, and we ordered 40, so thank you. I appreciate that. And what's crazy, and I almost don't want to even say it.
Don't say it.
Let's not say the fact that they're all still living.
Yeah.
Turkeys are notorious for not doing well, but at least in the brooder. After that, they're pretty bulletproof, but we haven't lost one yet after 3 days, so knock on everything wooden.
I go in there a couple times a day, and there's one stuck on its back with its head twisted, and I'm like, oh man, you know, thinking that we lost one, and then I go and kind of flip him over, and he jumps up and is all fine.
Those turkeys are actually for Thanksgiving, so we have half of them pre-sold for Thanksgiving for folks. Before I forget, one of the things I want to mention, we have some workshops and tours coming up this fall through spring. So if you guys are here in the Arizona area, definitely join our mailing list. You can do that through our website, and it is what?
eonfarm.com.
How do you spell that?
EONFARM.com.
Very good. I'm glad you could spell good. Or you could do edgeofnowherefarm.com. That works too. We have a few projects to take care of. So if all we're going to get is blowing dust, we should probably get to work. With the potential of a storm here this morning and having the monsoon season really kick into full force here in Arizona, wanted to take a few minutes today to talk to you guys about the importance of harnessing our scarcest resource, which would be water. Now, we have a well here on the farm, and that's how we've chosen to take care of most of our water needs. Now, our aquifer is very stable. It's a protected aquifer here in Arizona, so we're limited on how much we can take and what we can use it for. One of the great parts about this aquifer, we had talked about it earlier, is it's actually filled by rain that's north of us. While that is the case, and we're confident in that, we also want to be good stewards of the land and, more importantly, what falls on it. We put several things into place here on the farm. The first one we've shared with you guys when it came to planting our production crops, which was key for us as we started the farm here. As far as cash flow is concerned, we have rings that are designed around those trees themselves. We have our irrigation that goes into those rings. And of course, we fill those with wood chips nice and heavy to ensure that when we water, which occurs at night, we do not have evaporation that's happening with our irrigation water. You can see from the trees around us here, it's very effective. We also have been doing some desert adapted trees. You guys saw us planting moringa trees here just a few weeks back. That's just the beginning of the process for us. But one of the things we did was design a channel that goes around those trees that's designed to basically hold rainwater when we do get rains, because typically here we get heavy downpours, but it happens infrequently. So we want to hold as much of that water in the ground as we can. So because we're on well water here, it's the decision we made as far as our primary water source. We don't have water storage here on the farm. However, we do still have passive catchment that we're doing wherever we do installations on the farm. The only two buildings we have on the farm so far would be our house that you'll see behind me here and our outbuilding, which is where we keep our equipment. Now, these two are fantastic sources of mass quantities of water that are delivered during our heavy monsoon downpours. In fact, we did an installation of underground piping after we installed all of our rain gutters that allows us to channel that water. So with that installation, all of the water from the house, here on the backside at least, comes underground and then comes out through this underground drain. There's two of them on either side of the house. They drain back in here where we have our grapevines. When we designed the area for the grapevines, we actually dug a small ditch or a swale that runs along the front side of the vineyard. That allows the water to saturate into the grapevines and add some additional catchment of water and allow that to soak down into the ground. Now we have one other spot, that's our outbuilding, that also has some passive catchment. This is a 1,500 square foot outbuilding, and we have drainage that is designed to come off that building into one area and drain back behind us here where we have all of our berry areas. Now when we get heavy rains, it's very easy to see just how much water pools into this area and completely saturates the ground. In addition, on the back apron here of the outbuilding is where we do all of our chicken processing. We've actually put wood chips down here on the ground that will help, number one, soak in our rain events, but also do the same thing when we're doing our chicken processing. So there's a tremendous amount of nutrition here in the ground. Now, one of the things that we knew would eventually happen, because these wood chips are from arborists here in the valley, is we knew we would have seeds in here from desert adapted trees, and eventually we might see a few of those coming up on their own. This is my arch nemesis as far as pruning is concerned. This is definitely a Palo Verde tree. We had one of these on our original property in the city, and I can't tell you how many times I got cut on that thing trying to prune it. But they are desert adapted trees. You can see it's doing really well. We put some wood chips down and we're watering this while it's still young. It's right at the end of the drainage right here that comes down off of both of the outbuildings. So this is really an ideal placement for a tree that will also be a shade tree for us eventually. Now we are really hoping for a mesquite tree because I prefer those because of the mesquite bean pods, and we have a couple of mesquite trees growing on the farm. However, as we're looking at this tree, what we did find is a very tiny baby mesquite tree. Now, as we move into this next phase of the farm, we're gonna be focusing a lot more on this type of farming and really being as regenerative as we can here on the farm, where we capture as much rainwater as we can, put it down into the ground, eventually down into the aquifer to replenish those stores of water, and of course to grow plants just like you see here with very little input from us. Make sure you guys stick with us as we move into this next phase and we continue to work further back on the farm now that we have cash flow established here from a business standpoint. This time of year, we're in the monsoon season, and we found that it's a good time to take cuttings off the trees and try to root them out. We had pretty decent success last year with some Shangri-La mulberries that you saw us doing today, and also the contorted mulberry. Now, the Shangri-La mulberry is hard to find and usually expensive when you can find them here in town. We had a lot of folks ask us to sell them, so we may do that a little bit. So we're gonna see how these do, how they root out here over the summer. But if we can have similar success to what we saw last year, maybe we'll have a few come next spring. If you guys didn't watch last week's vlog, we're gonna be slowing down our posting a little bit. Like, we got distracted today multiple times with customers here for farm shares, and we have a consultation tomorrow and next weekend. So, you know, the farm business is kicking off and it's taking off. That's a good thing, but it limits our time for YouTube. So we're gonna post as much as we can, make sure we keep you guys updated as we go along. And obviously this change and this flex to having the business mostly in place and then expanding on that, but more importantly, getting some more desert adaptation here on the farm. So we're really being good stewards of this land that we're on here. So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. We cover a lot of things here on this newly established farm in the Arizona desert, but would love to see you on a regular basis. Any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section down below. And our Amazon shop, I'll leave a link down in the description. That is a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with the link down below, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere,
So can you.
dumping the water on the peach tree.
Oh, yeah.
What's on the... Is that water? Oh, man. Ooh, they get to see my guns. My little BB guns.
See how many people make a comment about it.
About my redneck shirt.
Yeah.
And if we can get similar to sex, I know where my mind's at. It's because you're so hot and sweaty. I don't know what to tell you.